Class is in memory of Jared Orchen, and today we're going to learn the Haftorah of Parshat Bamidbar. It's on page 1444, 1444, and it's from the book of Hosea. Hosea was a prophet in the time,
Almost in Isaiah.
18 BCE.
The time of the Assyrian Empire.
Assyrian Empire, and he saw a few kings according to the Midrash. And the beginning of his prophecy is harsh, but in chapter 2 he's taking a turn.
So what year was that again?
1800 BC.
So,
He's one of
700
the
BC.
last of the prophets, no?
8th century,
Hosea?
right?
No, before that.
Malachi?
No, it can be.
by cycle 700 roughly.
700?
BCE, yeah, give or take.
Hosea, yeah.
The 8th century, I'm sorry, the 8th
8th
century,
century.
not the 18th. Yeah, the 8th century BC.
Okay.
In any case, the Haftorah and the Parsha as usual have a connection. This Haftorah is being read Shabbos. This is Shabbos right before the holiday of Shavuos, right? What is Shavuos? What happened on Shavuos?
Giving the law.
Yeah, that's a very true. But this is the dry way to look at it, giving the law.
Order
What happened on
in the
Shavuos?
desert.
The revelation of God.
What
Coming
happened
down
on
the-
Shavuos?
God coming
God's
down to
presence
the
on
earth.
Sunday.
People to
Huh?
God, the marriage of the Jewish people to God.
Oh, finally somebody saved us.
Jewish women got Torah first and then got
right.
man.
Oh, the marriage of the Jewish people with God. From where are we taking it? This concept of marriage between God and the Jewish people. It's written in the Parsha. The Rashi says, it's where is it? Hashem Sinai bo, Zoach Meseir Loimoy, in Parshas, in the last Parsha of the Torah, Parshat Vezot HaBracha, in the page 1357, on the second line, and number 2, you want to read it?
He first said words of praise about God. God came out from Sinai to meet the Jewish people, and he shined his glory to them after coming from Seir, where the children of Esau had declined to accept the Torah. He appeared to them after coming from Mount Paran, where the children of Ishmael had declined to accept the Torah. He came to the Jewish people along with some of the holy myriads. Then he gave them a fiery law written with his right hand.
Okay. What this Rashi says about this, he came out to them from Sinai. God came out from Sinai to meet the Jewish people. Rashi says on this word, like a chosen goes out to welcome the Kala. You know, by a chuppah, you take first the groom to the chuppah. He stands under the chuppah by himself, lost. And then the bride comes. The custom is when the bride comes, some of the custom that the parents of the two fathers go out to greet the bride, and the many more communities, the groom himself goes out to greet the bride. The same thing what happened here. God came down at Mount Sinai. Where were the Jews? Schlafing. Then God came out to Sinai to meet the Jewish people. Just like a groom meets the bride. By the way, all the customs of a chuppah, of a marriage, is to reflect Mount Sinai. Just like the Jews stood under the mountain, so to speak, so too they stay under the chuppah. Just like there was fire, that's why there is candles. By a chuppah, the parents are holding candles. By the chuppah, God gave us a law, that's October. And so on and on. All the customs are to remind us about Mount Sinai experience. Just like the groom stands in the middle and the bride is circling him, because God was on the mountain, and the Jews were around the mount, right? The mountain. This concept, Rashi says it, like a chosen came out to the bride. Where they picked it up? I think it was Rabbi Akiva who said it, if I remember. Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Akiva, one of them said it, established this concept, just like the chosen goes to. He came up with the idea, one of these rabbis, that what happened at Mount Sinai was a marriage, was a love affair. But from where is he taking it? I think the rabbis were sitting in yeshiva and made up stories. Everything is based on the Bible or the prophet. The Haftorah of this week really speaks about it. There is quite a few places about it. The more, I would say, the more later prophets spoke about the relationship, they compared the relationship of God and the Jewish people to a marriage. Where started the marriage? At Mount Sinai. Obviously, Mount Sinai was the wedding. You understand? But that's what comes from the Haftorah. It's amazing that you read this Haftorah, many commentators are trying to find out there is a whole machine, a whole profession of connecting the Parsha and the Haftorah. That they connect the beginning of the Parsha, the end of the Parsha. Really, it's connected to Bamidbar, because the Parsha that we read this week is Bamidbar. Bamidbar means, in English it's numbers, Bamidbar means in the desert. What happened in the desert? We got the Torah. Why we went to the desert? To receive the Torah. That's what we did in the desert. That was the honeymoon. What the honeymoon? Why God gave the Torah in the desert? If you would be the planning of the party planner, where would you tell God, I have a good place for you to give the Torah, to make it really a good, where would you give the Torah? Jerusalem.
On the mount?
He says Hawaii.
Yeah, Temple Mount,
Hawaii.
on the beaches of Tel Aviv.
Yes, a nice place. Israel, a holy city, somewhere. And God looked for a mountain. There is in Israel bigger mountains, the Carmel, Tavor. Mount Tavor is a huge mountain, very high. Why God chose to give the Torah in the desert? In a no man's land.
Nobody could claim it then.
Oh,
Yeah.
one of the explanations is that the desert, if you give it Israel, wherever he would give it, somebody would claim it. Somebody would say, I gave it in our territory. The land of Israel is divided to 12 tribes. Every tribe, every part of Israel that belongs to somebody, to a tribe. If you would give it in Jerusalem, the tribe of Benjamin would say, or Judah, depends which part, would say, it's mine. Give it in Tel Aviv. Who belongs to Tel Aviv? God knows. I don't even know.
And it's in contrast to Egypt. There's no buildings, there's no man-made monuments.
We'll get there. Good question. Then, good explanation. Then, first of all, in Israel, it would belong to somebody who would say the Torah belongs to us. God didn't want nobody to ever claim ownership to the Torah. The Torah is owned by every Jew equally. Everybody has the same rights to the Torah. To be a Kohen, your father has to be a Kohen. To be a Levi, your father has to be a Levi. To be a rabbi, your father can be a shlepper. Everybody has equal rights.
Did you say that the land of Israel was, the 12 tribes had a portion of the whole land?
The whole land is divided to 12 tribes, right?
So then the desert would be a part of that land?
No, forget the desert is not Israel.
Oh, not Israel.
Saudi Arabia.
The question is, why not in Egypt? You should give the Torah in Egypt, in a civilized country. You can go buy a drink of water before, Because in Egypt, you said it's the monument. It's more than that. God wanted, in a civilized world, you are distracted. To receive the Torah, you need to be in a place that no distractions. There is an interesting law, Eve golel limkom Torah. You have to exile yourself to learn Torah. What does this mean? If there is a yeshiva in Cleveland, my son will still go somewhere else. He'll go, let's say, to New York. The boy in New York will come to Cleveland. The guy in Israel will go to America. The guy in America will go to Israel. Why?
Distraction.
Because in your own city, you cannot learn Torah. You go to mommy, she does, yo, today what do you want for supper, and tomorrow we're going for a bar mitzvah, and a day later there is a wedding, and then there is a funeral, we're going to Berkowitz. It doesn't work like this. If you want to learn Torah, you have to forget about everything. You have to go to a place that nobody knows you. Could be that this is a part why in college also they go to different cities. Really, it comes from Judaism, really. You go away to learn Torah. Evek golel imkom Torah. The Rebbe spoke about it a few times. And I can tell you, you see it. The kids who are in town, they are not there. They are not in yeshiva. They are half with one foot at home, with the other foot in yeshiva. You want to be in yeshiva, you have to be in a place that no mommy, no daddy, nobody will take care of you. You're stuck, and that's it. The same thing, where is the Mishnah taking it? As always, I'm telling you, everything comes from a source. The rabbi said and came up with this idea of Evek golel imkom Torah. They saw it, how God did it. God took the Jews out from a normal land, from a civilized country, Egypt, the most civilized country, to where? To no man's land, to nowhere. There's no cell phones here, no other distractions. You're not running anywhere, you don't have appointments, you're not going anywhere, no games and no anything. You are focused on the Torah. 40 years the Jews were in the desert, learning the Torah. In the desert, you shaped the Jewish people. Not in Israel, not in Egypt, in the desert. To shape a new nation, you have to be in a place that there's no distraction.
Where they're open.
Absolutely.
Open to learning.
Exactly.
I like the metaphor wilderness.
Exactly. Now, more than that, in a desert, when you know that you have to survive, you focus on the important things. You're not distracted. If you know you have water and bread and you do everything to survive, you're so focused, you don't busy with any distraction. The nonsense don't bother you because you're in a mode of survival. Then that's why in the desert, that God took the Jews out to the desert, and this is the old book of Bamidbar, and that's the Haftorah speaks basically on the same idea. What happened in the desert? The Jewish people married God. God married the Jewish people. God was the Gul, the Jewish people were the bride, Mount Sinai was the chuppah, that was the wedding, Mazel Tov. Now, the anniversary of the wedding, 3,328 years ago, is on Shavuos. This coming Sunday is the anniversary of the wedding. And we are going to reread the Ketubah again, the Ten Commandments, in the synagogue. And you know, when we do it, was for some reason, it was a milchike, it was a dairy wedding. They served ice cream in the desert, looks like, and milk. Therefore, we serve milk products on this anniversary of the wedding. Then this is the best connection from the Haftorah to the Parsha. Now, we'll read a little bit from the Haftorah. Another thing the Haftorah is connected to the Parsha, why it's called in English Numbers, the book of Numbers.
They count up the
Because they started
Starts off
counting the Jewish people. And can you count the Jewish people? Can't you? Complicated. Should you? Evil eye? Not allowed, not allowed. The Haftorah starts with this issue. Let's read in the Haftorah. What is it? In the time, I'm sorry.
In the time of the redemption, the number of children in Israel will be like the sand of the seashore, which can neither be measured nor counted. Instead of being called, "You are not my people," they will be called children of the living God.
Okay, first of all, the first line is the connection to the Parsha. Hosea says that the Jewish people will be so many, you will not be able to count. Like the sand of the sea.
So in context here, the first chapter was talking about, "Lo me, you are not my people." Talking about the northern kingdom.
We'll get that.
Okay.
First of all, the first line. What's written in the Torah? We will be like what? As many stars of the heaven, or the sand of the
That's
sea.
Abraham.
Stars is Abraham.
Stars of Abraham, and who said sand of the sea? God said. God said, Jacob said in the Torah, you will be as many, who says? Moses said, you'll be as many as the stars of
Stars is Abraham.
ככך והשמיים לא רעב. I think it's in Parshas Vayeschanan, no? You tell me.
God says everything.
Maybe in Parshas Dvorim.
Chapter 11,
Chapter 11, you see something?
12.
For some reason I remember that a little earlier.
Or 12 or 13.
Here it is. On page 1127, right in the beginning of Parshas Dvorim, actually, yeah, right in the beginning there, it says in number 11, 1127, number 11, in fact, in the future, I'm sorry, number 10. Number 10 starts, where is it? Starts in page 1125. Read number 10.
Okay.
For God your
For
God,
God your God has made you great. You are so great that you are everlasting, like the sun, which shines during the day, and like the moon and the individual stars of the heavens, so that
okay, here it's, if you read it without the parentheses, what's written here? And like the stars of the heavens,
yes,
right? You are like the stars of the heaven. You are as many as the stars of the heaven. That Moses compares us to the stars of the heaven. Hosea compares us to the sand of the earth. God, sometimes he says, will only be like the stars of the heavens. Sometimes he says, will be like the sand of the earth, right? Right in the beginning, he got promised Abraham, you'll have as many children, right? God tells him, and where is it? God tells him, on page 81, God tells him, he took him out, and in number 5, want to read, please?
He took him outside his tent, and he said, "Please look heavenward and count the stars. If you are able to count them," he said to him, "that is how numerous your descendants will be."
Wow. Then he says it will be as many as the stars of the heaven, right? Compared to the stars of the heaven. Well, there is more places that God compares this to the sand of the earth. Where is this? Huh?
Rabbi, doesn't it also say somewhere that you'll be few in number?
It's in another place. Let's not try to explain everything. Then we spoke about it. You cannot
Looking at the
explain everything.
contrasts.
Where is Hashem tells them? Hashem tells Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob everyone one time. As will be the stars.
On page 87.
Page 87. Yeah, what he
Where
says.
says, "I will greatly multiply your descendants so that they will not be able to be counted
Yeah.
due to their great number."
Great number, but no, I'm talking about comparing to the stars of heaven and the sand of the sand of the earth. Here it is on page 129, number 17. God told Abraham right by the end of the story of the Akedah, and number 17. Want to read?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
I will bless you and your son, and I will multiply your descendants and your sons like the stars of the heavens and like the sand that is on the seashore. And your descendants will inherit the cities of their
Okay.
enemies.
Then here God says both things: stars of the heaven and the sea and the sand of the sea. Moses said the stars of the heaven. Hosea says the sand of the sea. And the Talmud says, when are we compared to the stars of the heaven?
We do well, we're stars, and we don't
When
do well,
when-
people walk on us.
Nobody is doing well. But when we deserve to be, when we are behaving like stars, what is the star of the heaven?
They shine.
The shine.
So
Very
each one's
good.
an angel.
And what else more than the shine?
Holy, they're angel-like.
What is the stars useful for human beings?
As a guiding.
Guiding. If you're in the middle of the desert, you don't know the way, you go by the stars. Even in the Israeli army, they teach the soldiers that if they lost, they should go. That when we do what Hashem wants, when we are a reflection of God, we are a guide. We are an example. We are a shining example to the rest of the world. We are the leaders. When we don't do what Hashem wants, everybody steps on us. We are at the bottom. It's up to us.
It's like the dust, they said it erodes.
The
It
dust of
erodes in
the
the
earth.
end.
That's what he says here. That's first of all, that's the first line. The second line of the Haftorah, 1444, we'll go back to the original, I'm sorry for confusing you with so many pages. He says, in a place that was said to you, you are not my people, will be said to you what? You are the sons, children of the living God. The New told them you are not my people.
In the first chapter.
Isaiah in the first chapter told them you are not my people. The Talmudic rabbi said, such a contrast from the first chapter to the second, like 180 degrees. The first chapter is reprimanding the Jews. I will throw you out, I will do this to you. Then the second chapter says, don't worry, don't lose it. I still love you. It will be good days. That's what he tells them. Because the first chapter told them you're going to be thrown out of the land. You need to understand, in the first book of Joshua and Judges, you see a pattern. The Jews sinned, they were washed at the idol. God brings us some enemy on their head, beats them up. They pray to God, they cry. God sends a messenger, he saves them, and the cycle is good. You know, it's like a child and a parent. Then what is happening here now before the destruction of the first temple? God says, like the parent who has a teenager in his house who like came all the way to here. He threw him out of the house. No more anymore. A few punishments. We walk this out. Hosea comes and tells them, guys, you're going to lose the land. The Jews were in a shock. This language was never said. Yeah, it was written in the Bible that one day, it's like the parent who tells you, boy, if you don't behave, I'll throw you out of the house. But it was never a reality. This is the first time it becomes a reality. Therefore, Hosea has to also comfort the Jews that eventually they'll come back.
First chapter is interesting too because he symbolically has to marry a prostitute to show idolatry. He has 3 kids with the names,
Hosea, God
kick 'em
tells
out.
Hosea to marry a prostitute, and he did know that she's a prostitute, and he has 3 kids with her, and all the names represents how much God doesn't love the Jewish people, and she runs to other men, and he wants to throw her out to divorce her, and then she comes back. And it's all a metaphor. I mean, that's all discussion if he actually married or not. If he did or not, doesn't make a difference. The point is, the message was about what we spoke before, about the Jewish people, that we are married to God and we are going to other husbands. And just like a jealous husband, doesn't want that his wife should run around with other men, God is a jealous God. And we say God is a jealous God. It's not jealous in the sense of angry, of mean. It's a jealous in the way of, here is the word, a protective husband. And the Jews go somewhere else, and every time they think maybe the Baal will save them, maybe the Egyptian will save them, maybe there's a little comedy show in Israel. They decide, if you don't go to the army, who is going to help you? Said America. He points to heaven and said that when we have the wrong God, when we rely on the wrong God, we are in trouble. Then here, what the Haftorah always, the rabbis who chose the Haftorahs who are positive, because you're already in exile. The bad news you already heard. Now we need to hear the good news. There is a little bad news in every Haftorah, but as much as possible there is good news there. That he says in a place, instead of being called, you are not my people, you be called the children of the living God. Number 2.
The children of Yehuda and the children of Israel will be gathered together, and they will appoint for themselves Moshiach as their one head. They will go up from the land of their exile to their own land. For great is the day when God's scattered people will be gathered. Say to your brothers from the 10 lost tribes, my people.
Okay, until there, he will say there will be a special day when the children of Judah and the children of Israel will come together, will be one leader. Not two kings, will be one king. One Moshiach for everybody. Okay, now we go to number 3. Say to your brother.
Say to your brothers from the 10 lost tribes, my people, and to your lost sisters, object of pity. But until the redemption, O righteous ones, reprimand your congregation which is compared to a mother. Reprimand her for her bad ways, for she is no longer my wife, since she has betrayed me, and I am no longer her husband. Let her remove her makeup from her face, which she used as an enticement for harlotry, and her perfume from between her breasts, which she used as an enticement for adultery.
Okay, here it comes with the metaphor. Who is the mother? Knesset Israel, the nation as a whole. He says, tell your mother she's not my wife anymore, and I'm not your husband. What does this mean? She went other places. I don't want to be her husband. The Jewish people went somewhere else. That's why it's written that there are 3 things that you better give your life than do it. If somebody forces you to worship idols, you have to give your life and not to worship idols. Why? Because there is no way back, so to speak. You worshiping idols is like betraying. It's like going to another, having an affair. It'll never be the same. What happened in the golden calf? It was never the same. You worship idols, huh? Got yourself another god. You don't need me. Then the relationship can never be the same again. That's what he's really saying. Here in number 5, he continues to be very harsh. Or else,
I will strip her naked to embarrass her and leave her standing like the day she was born. I will make her public property like a desert, and I will make her public like an arid land, and cause her to die of thirst.
then here he says, I'll make you like a desert. That's a connection to the Parshat Bamidbar. He make you like a desert. And she will die by thirst, because it's basically the Jewish people were in the desert. God protected them, took care of them. And they go around and say, oh, we can do it ourselves. God says, really? I'll take everything away from you. And then we'll see how you can do it yourself.
Is this why Isaiah, who's the contemporary in the southern kingdom, is spending 3 years going around naked? Is it the same idea?
It was Isaiah going around naked for 3 years? That's a long time.
Yeah. It must have gotten cold, huh?
Okay, maybe, I don't know. Number 6.
And I will not pity her children, the righteous ones of the congregation, for they are children of harlots who tolerated the sins of Israel. For their mother, the people of Israel, was a harlot. She who conceived them behaved shamefully. For the Jewish people placed their trust in the stars, believing that this would be a source of sustenance, like a woman who says, I will go after my lovers, those who give me bread and give me my bread and my water, my wool and my flax, my oil and my drinks.
Here it's interesting. He says, the harlot says, I'll go to my lover who gives me my bread and my water. Knowing very well who really gives you bread and water. And Rashi says, the Jews didn't want to remember who gives them the bread and the water. Now they didn't know. How many times you think people don't know? Then you dig a little deeper, they know. They just don't want to know. They pretend not to know. It's easier. And that's what he says here. God says, I give you everything, and you believe in stars, and you believe in idols, and you believe in other things. They will give me and they start to develop other beliefs because it's easier, because the other idol doesn't demand anything. Where I saw it, a Medrash or a Talmudic statement says, is the Jews are so stupid to believe in idols? But they know if they believe in idols, they can do whatever they want. The idol doesn't tell you what to do. It's easy. Life is good. You only come for blessings. In a metaphorical sense, Hasidic Jews, we have a Rebbe. People go to the Kotel. What's the difference if you're going to the wall or you're going to a Rebbe? The wall only hears you, takes your prayers. The Rebbe demands from you. Much easier to have a Rebbe who doesn't talk, right? Doesn't demand, doesn't tell you what to do. Pleasure. That's what God forbid, the temple, the Western Wall is the holiest site of the Jewish people. But the concept is people like to be in places that nobody demands anything. The idols didn't demand anything. What was the incentive, Jewish people, that the Torah, that God testifies on them, that they are the smartest people. Atem, that this is our wisdom and you are the smartest people. Am chacham v'navon. This is a smart and wise nation. It's going to worship idols. What else? Stupid? They are not, my friend. They are not stupid at all. They know we make an idol thing and this, and then we can do whatever nobody tells us what to do. They know it's not real.
So how did we get rid of most of our idolatry in Babylonia? Was that supernatural or was that natural in that sense?
I don't think Babylonia, when we came to Babylon, was a land of idol worshippers. I don't think so.
What were they worshiping at the time?
It's a good question. I don't know. Nebuchadnezzar was a god.
Mm-hmm.
He can get rid of all the other gods.
Weren't they astronomers?
But at least it was less physical. At least it was less physical, maybe. It's clear that in Israel we were worshipping idols. When we went to the diaspora, we didn't worship idols.
Nature, they worship.
It's interesting, but when we went to diaspora, which one are you talking about? You're talking about the kingdom of Judah, the last ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
To begin with, they were more religious, you understand? The 10 tribes, when they went to the diaspora, they assimilated. They became idol worshippers like everybody else and finished. The people who were exiled after the destruction of the first temple were to begin with more religious. That it was easier for them to hold on to. They had an identity. Then it's not necessarily giving the credit to Babylon, you understand what I'm saying? It's more, a little credit the Jews deserve too.
They probably needed to, identify as a group more in Babylon.
Yeah, but even in Israel, not all of them are idol worshippers. That's what I'm saying. Okay, we are in number 8. Thank you.
Therefore, behold, I will close off her root of sustenance with thorns, and make a fence against her, so she has no sustenance from the stars, and she will not find her paths of sustenance. Though she will pursue her lover's offering incense to the stars, she will not come close to them to receive anything from them. She will seek them and not find them. Then she will say, I will go and return to my first husband, to God, for it was better for me then than now.
Elcho ve'oshuvo elishi arishaim. I will say, I'll go better to my first husband. Oh, God was not so bad actually. After you're running after Egypt and you saw that Egypt didn't help them, and when push came to shove, Egypt was not there to help them. And all the other gods were not there to help them. Then the Jewish people will remember, oh, maybe it's better to go to my first husband, to God.
Was this the only time this line was in the Torah, or in the, was it somewhere else?
This line, El Chava Shuva Elishi Rishon, I don't know. I cannot tell you such an answer. Maybe he can answer. Yeah, this is an answer that quite a few times the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, when he wrote letters during the Holocaust in America, he wrote letters of inspiration to the Jewish people. He said, God, he says, it's so much about demonstrations, it's about going back to God. And he quoted this line, let's go back to our first husbands. Let's go back to our God, to our traditions, to our Judaism. That's what it's all about. Now it's called Ishi. Soon we'll see, where is it? Okay, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Okay, number 10.
For she did not realize that to begin with, it was I who gave her the corn, the wine, and the oil.
It was I who gave it much silver and gold, but they used it for the deity Baal. Therefore I will return and take my corn at its ripening time, and my wine at its appointed season. I will cause the sheep to die, and thus take away my wool and my flax, which I gave her to cover her nakedness, and she will have nothing to wear. And now that she will have no wool or flax, her disgrace will be revealed to the eyes of her lovers, the stars who fail to support her.
Okay.
No man made deity.
Okay, what he says here is like this. Here, and this Rashi says, she didn't realize that it's all coming from me. What means she didn't realize? They didn't want to realize. The Jewish people didn't want to realize. They could realize. You can, if you open your eyes, you can see it's the end of God. Sometimes you choose not to see the end of God, because then it might be a commitment. Where are we? Number 12? 13.
I will put an end to all her.
You know what? We'll give him to read. Mark, he didn't get the chance to read.
I will put an end to her rejoicing, her festivals, her new moon, her Shavuos, and her holidays.
Oh, let's stop here. I will put an end to all the rejoicing of her festivals. What's next?
New moon.
New moon is Rosh Chodesh, Shabbos, and thy holidays.
That's the Greek.
What?
That's the Greek exile. That's what the
First of all, there is 4 things here. It used to be, what are the Jewish holidays? The 3 holidays, Pesach, Shavuos, and Sukkot. That's Chagim. Chag Sameach, we say Chag Sameach. That's Chagim. Chodsha is Chodesh. Rosh Chodesh, today is Rosh Chodesh. In the biblical time, we spoke about it not long ago, Rosh Chodesh was a big holiday. Saul made a big party, a big feast on Rosh Chodesh. Rosh Chodesh was a big day. People didn't go to work on Rosh Chodesh. Shabbos, nothing more than the Shabbos. And all the other holidays. What are the other holidays? Then the Medrash says, the Talmud says, it's Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. There is a difference between the 3 holidays, Pesach, Shavuos, and Sukkot, and the holy days. There is holidays and holy days. Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur is a different, on a higher level if you want. Now, interesting enough, there is another Haftorah from the book of Isaiah that we're going to read before Tisha B'Av. That God says, Chageichem u'moadeichem san'a nafshi. I hate your holidays. You don't make me happy with your holiday. The way you celebrate it, I don't like it. Now, that was in the first temple. Before it was a second day Yontif. Right? Now in the diaspora, we have a second day Yontif, right? There is 2 days Shavuos, there is Pesach, there is a few days, 2 days every Yontif. And the second day, God never said on this day, I hate your holidays. Because there was no holidays. Therefore, it was from Hasidic Rebbe, in the name of a Hasidic Rebbe, he said, we see in the diaspora, the second day Yontif is a happier day. That's the achievement of the Jewish people. We came up with the Yontif. We are giving God a present at Yontif. The first day Yontif, God told us to do. It's a different if you bring your parents a present that they didn't ask from you. It's your present. These days God does not. Because in God said, I hate your holidays, but before we had the second day Yontif. Therefore we embrace the second day Yontif. That's something that's so unique about the diaspora that you don't have in Israel. They are missing out on a second day. People say, they have to eat matzah only for 7 days. They wish they would eat matzah for 8 days.
Is this before the calendar?
Yeah. They wish they would have a second day Yontif. A first day Yontif, you're sitting down for the first night of the Seder. You're so tired, you cannot even breathe straight. I say, running around. You cannot enjoy it. It's over. In America, in diaspora, we have a second day Yontif. Everybody slept well. Second Seder, we can enjoy it, we can appreciate it. The second day gives you the time to really recall. Shmini Atzeres and Simchas Torah. In the diaspora, it's 2 separate days. In Israel, it's 1 day, it's over. Huh?
When they list these 3 things, other than bris milah, this sounds almost like the Greek exile.
The Greeks didn't allow us to do bris and holidays and Shabbat. Yeah, Rosh Chodesh. All the signs between God and the Jewish people.
Right. But this almost sounds like, is this a prediction of?
Oh, there is a prediction for whatever happens to us is all predicted already. No question about it. Okay, we'll go to number 14. I will turn to, go ahead.
I will turn to wasteland her wine and her fig tree, about which she said, they are my harlotry fees, which my lovers have given me. I will make her private orchards into a public forest, and the beasts of the field will devour them.
Because she gave the credit for all the good that she had to her other lovers, to her other gods, I'll take it away now, we'll see. That's what God is saying. Go ahead.
I will remind her of the days of worshiping the deities of Baal, to whom she burnt incense. It was as if she adorned herself with her earrings and her jewelry, and went after her lovers. Yet she forgot to worship me, says God.
She forgot. That's the sad part. To forget God. It's not to do enough. Forgot. Gone. Or pretending to forget. There is Zachor and Ve'al Tishkach. Remember and don't forget. It's one level to remember, the other thing is not to forget. Here we forgot, the Jewish people forgot about God.
Therefore, behold, I will charm her and lead her into the desert where no other men are found, and I will speak to her heart to bring her back to serve me. Then out of her love that she awakens for me, there I will give her back her vineyards, and her desolate valley will become a charming gate.
Let's stop
where
right
people
here.
hope together.
1 second. God here tells us he's not giving up on the Jewish people. You see what's going on here? He says, I will charm her. I will take her. I will remarry her. I will try to get her out back. God promises us that no matter how far we'll go, he'll never give up on the Jewish people. And that's the big news here. God can say, okay, until you come back, I'll go. No, he doesn't say it. Until you come back, I will forget about you. God says, I will schlep you, and I will try to buy you out back. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
She will sing out loud there, as in the days of her youth, before the exile, just as she sang on the day of her coming out from the land of Egypt.
Okay. She will be and sing. Here at number 17, there is a few interesting things. I'll give her a vineyard, and the desolate valley will become a charming gate. If you look in the Hebrew side, there is something interesting. The second, ונתתי לה את עמק החור לפתח תקווה. You recognize the name Petach Tikva?
It's a city.
It's a city in Israel. Petach Tikva. What means Petach Tikva? A gate of hope.
The song?
They're saying the Tikva. Hope, yeah. Tikva means hope. Then he says, I'll take it from the valley of, what is this, the highest answer? The valley of what? Of desolation to Petach Tikva. What it was when the first settlers 130 years ago, they came to Israel, they wanted to open something, I think not far from Hebron, from Jericho. Something like this. And there was, that's called Emek Achur, a desolated valley, because that was a place where Achan, remember the story with Achan, who was stealing from the spoil of which city they conquered, of Jericho? Ai. And God punished the Jewish people. And the place is called Emek, I think it's called Emek Achor. God will dislike you, something like this. And when they tried to settle there and it didn't work out, they decided to go to a different place in the central part of Israel. They bought the lands of Petach Tikva, and they established, it was religious Jews who established Petach Tikva. And they called it Petach Tikva as a contrast to the desolated valley, a gate of hope. And until today, Petach Tikva is relatively a religious city. And she will sing the same way as the day she went out from Egypt. Number 18.
What will happen on that day, says God, is that you will call me my man, and you will no longer call me my Baal.
My Baal. Whoa. What is this? Okay. How you say husband in Hebrew?
Let's translate to my man.
Such a basic word, guys.
On a practical level, Ebed?
You know what Ebed means? Slave. Nebuch. You should look how bad he looks. He suffers so much. Baal. Baal means husband. Baal ve'isha means a husband and a wife. Now, Baal means also my owner, owns me type of thing. In today's feminist world, many women in Israel don't call their husband Baal, they call him Ishi, my man. My husband, what is he owns me? What is this Baali? Ishi, he's my man, not my husband. And God is saying here that Baal, it's interesting, I never realized that Baal is the same connotation that the idol Baal.
Right.
But that has a whole different meaning. Baal means owner. Like it could be Baal Abai, the owner of the house. And Baal means husband too. Now here, what is he saying? You will not call me my husband, my Baal, you'll call me my man. What's the difference? Rashi explains, Baal means my owner, my leader, my boss. That means I fear, that's a relationship with God of fear. God is the boss, God is the owner, God is the master. Ishi is my man as a love. You will not serve me out of fear anymore, you'll serve me out of love. That's what Hashem says. And now and this day, Bayom Ha'u, when we say Bayom, what's Bayom Ha'u? Bayom Ha'u, Bayom Ha'u. Hashem, when is Bayom Ha'u? Ve'hoyo Bayom Ha'u, will be that day. We're all referring to the same day when Moshiach will come. That he says, Ve'oyo Bayom Ha'u. The expression Ve'oyo Bayom Ha'u that's here is in many places. It's written, for example, Ve'oyo Bayom Ha'u will be that day, and the sound of the shofar will blow, and all the exiles will come back to Jerusalem. That's all these prophecies that speaks about Moshiach start Ve'aya Bayom Ha'u. Here it starts the same thing. Ve'aya Bayom Ha'u will be this day. We will call God not my husband, but my man. I will serve God not from fear, but from love. Now, Ishi, what Ishi reminds me? What the word Ishi means?
Woman.
What else? I know, Ish. No, Ish is woman. Isha is woman. Ishi is man. Ishi and Isha. By. What else is Ishi reminds you? Fire. Ishi. By the way, man and woman, in Hebrew it's Ish and Isha. If you take out from the word Ish, the Yud, it's Ish, right? If you take out the word of Isha, the A, you take off, it's again Ish. That's Ish and Ish, fire and fire. And there is, to the Ish, there is a Yud. Isha is a A. When you put the Yud and the A together, what is coming up? Yud A, the name of God. When you put God, a husband and wife, are two fires. Not fire and water, two fires! They can never exist together. Coexistence doesn't work there. But if you put God in the middle, Yud and K, then Hashem is there. Then that's a holy marriage, a holy union. Now here we say, you'll call God Ishi. What does this mean? Not only will call him my man, my lover, it will be a fiery love. The Ish, the fire that's within every Jew, the spark of God that's within every one of us will be awakened and will be a fiery love. What is fire? Why we compare love to fire? Fire always wants to go up, wants to go higher. Same thing, the Jewish soul is compared to a fire. We always want to go closer to God. That is going to be when Mashiach will come. No more fear of God. You don't serve God just because you're afraid of Him, because you're forced to, because you want to. Number 19.
I will remove the names of the Baal, the deities, from her mouth, and they will no longer be mentioned by their proper names, but rather by the derogatory names.
That they will only be named by the right names, right? Whatever it means. And the names of the idols. Number 20.
On that day I will make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field, the birds of the sky, and the creeping things of the earth, no longer to destroy. I will banish the bow, the sword, and war from the earth, and I will let them lie safely.
That it says here, everybody will be no more war. The animals will not attack. With peace in the world. Peace, peace. What are we wanting? Peace. Everybody always says, why we just cannot get along? Getting along. Sounds very simple, getting along.
Yeah.
So he and Isaiah are on the same page here. Isaiah chapter 2 and Hosea chapter 2.
The same thing.
Peace.
You're right. And now comes the last line of the Haftorah, who is really connecting to where we're standing now. Go ahead.
I will betroth you to me forever and never despise you again. I will betroth you to me as a reward for your righteousness and justice, loving kindness and mercy. I will betroth you to me with your faith in me, and you will know God.
First of all, there is other customs, other people who are saying when they're putting on film, they say this line, "Verastich li leolam, verastich li bechesed ubebishpat." It's written here, right? It's written this verastich, and I will betroth you to me 3 times. You saw it?
Mm-hmm.
Why 3 times?
Permanent.
How many times you been to exile?
2 times.
Really?
Well, Egyptian
Really?
exile.
Once in Egypt,
Temple.
after the first temple, and after the second temple. God says, I'll betroth you. I will always bring you back. You will be married to me. The marriage of the Jewish people and God will take place Sunday. You're all invited.
What time?